What is going on, comic book gang? It's your boy Bianchi, aka Year of the Collector, and I'm back once again with another episode of One World Under Doom. This will be episode 7 in the series on my channel, but technically this will be issue 19 from the 32 issues that make up the entire event. If you want to get caught up with the other episodes and see the stories involving Bucky Barnes, the Thunderbolts, or the Fantastic Four, make sure that you check the playlist at the end of this video. And with that being said, let's get right into it. This is Thunderbolts Doomstrike issue number 2. The revolution will not sit idly by while the world is under Dr. Doom's control. Bucky Barnes has been keeping a low profile since the attack on Shelbyville, Indiana, especially since Doom blamed Bucky for it. But it's safe to say that Bucky is carrying the burden of this fight and the casualties of it on his shoulders. But like Sergei Nechayev, Bucky Barnes will not be deterred. The revolution marched along. That took Bucky to an old Thunderbolt ally, the home of one John Walker, aka U.S.Agent. John Walker is currently sliding on a downward spiral. His team, the Thunderbolts, are disbanded. He's been drinking and he's been called AWOL. Basically, John's been feeling bad for himself, and understandably so. His world went to shit. Bucky was there to recruit John for a mission. Natasha got intel that there was an insurgency activity nearby, meaning there's a rebellion against Doom's new regime. So why not check it out? What's the worst it could happen? They go to Austin, Texas, which is known as Free City now. That's quite on the face, but it's fitting. The people from this town rallied and fought the Doombots, so this might be quite literally the only city in America free from Doom's control. So they proceeded with caution, and by that I mean they were knocking on the door of a bar where the insurgents hung out. Bucky said he was looking for his friend Sal. They were buddies from World War II, but he was told to leave. There was no Sal there. They weren't lying. John was like, "Oh Bucky, any friend you have from the war is probably in a museum now." But Bucky said, "Oh, you clearly don't know Sal. If you don't know Sal, don't worry, this all will make sense later." Anyways, they are greeted by another fellow former Thunderbolt, Sharon Carter, aka Destroyer. The three of them know each other pretty well. They were together when they attacked the Red Skull in the last Thunderbolt series. Now, Sharon was suspicious of Bucky, to the point where he even asked, why the animosity? Sharon stated what everyone around the world was thinking. Bucky blew up Shelbyville. Not that she thought Bucky launched the nuke himself, but the fact that Bucky went after Doom and the destruction of Shelbyville was the result. That is why Sharon was mad at Bucky. But Bucky had a good point. She was with him when they tricked Doom into killing the Red Skull, so she also had a hand in setting all of it in motion. Bucky was hoping that Sharon will help him to make it right. Sharon, of course, didn't see a way to make anything right. This was Doom's world now. As far as she was concerned, Free City was the best they could hope for. You know, a small town where Doom had no oversight, where people were not subject to Doom's regime. That's a lot, and she saw how the Avengers even tried to step up to Doom and got embarrassed. Bucky tried giving a speech to everyone present. They were already fighting the good fight. Why not fight the whole war? Bucky shared the intel he had about Doom moving some cargo near Free City. He proposed they ambush the train carrying this cargo and sabotage whatever Doom was planning. John is the first to react to the revolution's speech. John was not game. He saw no point in fighting back. He pointed out that everyone had tried to fight back had no luck so far, including Bucky himself. He had a legit concern. What happens when Doom strikes back? How far is Bucky willing to take it? Now, here is where Bucky gets all serious, and he shared the tale of how he was inspired by Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Bucky said that Churchill's behavior is now remembered or talked about as a facade. You know, the cigars, the speeches, the being out and about in public. But the truth is, Nazis were attacking the UK every night. Fascism was daring Churchill to make the wrong move. He was living underground. Chelsea wouldn't be killed by spies. The last night the invaders were deployed, Churchill gave them a speech about being the wrench against the machines that grinded people in its gears. This is a callback, in my opinion, to giant-sized Invaders #1 from 1975. I don't think this is a one-for-one callback, kinda fit the timeline. So if you actually know in what comic book Churchill addressed the Invaders, please let me know in the comments. Regardless of the details, the story worked on Destroyer, and so they decided to team up with Bucky. I'm not gonna break down the full plan. The gist of it was they were going to disrupt the route of the train to force it into passing by this closed canyon. Here's where Bucky's World War II friend Sal finally shows up. Sal is short for Sergeant Sal Romero, the spirit of vengeance that fought in World War II, better known as Ghost Rider 44. This Ghost Rider first appeared in The Incredible Hulk #1 and then fully on issue #6 from 2023. It wasn't until Hellhunters #4 that his origin story was fully fleshed out. Sal Romero was part of the Hellhunters, a group of badasses who fought in World War II alongside Bucky Barnes, Soldier Supreme, Logan, the Howling Commandos, Sergeant Fury, and Peggy Carter, among many others. So yeah, that's where Bucky knows Sal. Side note, the Hellhunter series is still coming out as this video is being recorded, so that's quite the quick turnaround for this new Ghost Rider. Anyways, the plan went pretty smooth. Ghost Rider slowed down the train, Destroyer hit it off the rails, and U.S.Agent bounced it off its axis and it landed off the wheels. Train stopped. Now they needed to raid the cargo and peel out of there. Simple enough, right? Well, that's when Citizen V showed up out of nowhere. The real Valentina, one of the best spies in the known Marvel universe, was there to stop the revolution. Apparently, Valentina was no friend of Bucky Barnes, unlike her live decoy model counterpart who actually worked with the Thunderbolts before. But no, this Valentina, the real Valentina, was an officer from Dr. Doom's personal security guard. Apparently, she had cut out some type of deal with Walker where he was supposed to sabotage Bucky, but since Walker did him, she decided to pull up on them. This raid was going sideways very fast. Ghost Rider took Valentina away so they could have a window to retreat. That didn't last for long because Valentina hit Ghost Rider with her sword, and just like that, he was gone. Why is that? I don't know yet. If I find out, I'll come back and add it to this review and add it to this video, or I'll just add it in the comment section. There's no details specifying what is Valentina's sword made of or what was the correlation between the sword and Ghost Rider. I have my friend Timo, aka the Thor Storian, go through the Hellhunters series as I am working on making this video, and that yielded no results. So if anybody knows anything about this sword, please let us know. We are trying to learn what the whole deal is here. But let's continue. Valentina made it very clear that whatever live model deco version of herself was hanging out with Bucky, it wasn't her, and that those days were over. Also, this whole train cargo was a setup. She let the intel leak so she could lure out Bucky from hiding, and it worked. Natasha let Bucky know his transport was almost there, but he refused to leave because they still had John Walker. Valentina was edging Bucky to fight back. Sharon also hit him up on the comms. Most of her group were able to escape. They managed to open the cargo and saw that what Doom was transporting was vibranium, which in any case is worse than just weapons. If you know anything about vibranium, is that it can literally be used for anything. Depending on who's writing the story, vibranium could be turned into a weapon, a suit, a sword, you name it. Bucky had to make a decision: stay and fight, probably lose and die just to save John, or just to try to save John, who was already working for Valentina to begin with, or fight to the bitter end, just like Walker was saying before. Where do you stop? How far is Bucky willing to take it? In the end, Bucky left without Walker, fully knowing he was going to be locked away and possibly tortured, maybe even killed. But what's another dead body for the revolution? Just like Sergei Nechayev lived, seeking the revolution through any means necessary. In the end, you can see that Bucky contemplates very heavily the toll that this fight is taking on him and other people, just like the victims of the nuclear bomb in Shelbyville, Indiana. This war that the revolution has taken on, the stakes continue to rise. The force continues to escalate. How far is Bucky willing to take it? I guess we'll find out in the next issue. And with that being said, my name is Bianchi, aka Year of the Collector. I want to thank you for watching. You have a blessed day, and remember to read more comics.